welcome to Politically Incorrect with Manishankar Iyer and Shapon Dasgupta, the most fiery debate show on television. Well, it's been a politically charged week after the Congress promised to bring in 9% quotas for backward minorities within the 27% OBC quota if it came to power in Uttar Pradesh. The BJP immediately denounced religion-based reservation as unconstitutional. Other parties are also now looking at fueling OBC anger at having to share the quota pie. But we're asking a larger question tonight. Has competitive caste politics trumped issues like corruption and development ahead of these forthcoming state assembly elections? Shapon, if I can begin with you. Election time, we're hearing the quota debate all over again. Actual affirmative action or just cynical politics?
Well, you see, one of the most intriguing features of this particular election is how desperate the Congress is to win Uttar Pradesh. State assembly elections come and go. In fact, it happens each and every year. And there are multiple state assembly elections. Some people lose them, some people win them. It's part and parcel of the thing. But the manner in which the Congress appears to have focused entire energies on somehow making a point, which is because it's not linked to the importance of Uttar Pradesh, but the importance of its own internal leadership future. And that is why the Congress today, out of the blue, took out this 4.5% reservations for backward minorities out of its hat just prior to the election. The EC has now struck it down. Salman Khurshid, preempting the Congress manifesto, announced that it would be 9%. We are now told that Mulayam Singh might try and better that in some way. Now, what does all this add up to? It's not that corruption, development, and other things are completely irrelevant. But the form of mobilization which elections take place is always mediated through the caste game. Because that's the shortcut. That's the ready-made constituency which is available to people. Identity. You have multiple identities. Everyone has identity. Some people are Indians. Some people can further break it down. You can be Punjabis, you can be Bengalis. You can further break it down to caste. You can further break it down to Gotra, as far as I'm concerned. So it's this narrowing of identities which is taking place all over again. And to couple with this, this is seen as the easy way to empowerment.
Easy way to empowerment, but identity politics also a double-edged sword?
He has misunderstood the nature of Indian nationhood. He says you begin as an Indian and then you break it down. On the contrary, the sub-identities are the building blocks of the Indian identity. If I cannot speak Tamil, why should I be an Indian? If because I was born in Pakistan, I'm not allowed to live in this country, why should I be an Indian? Each of our sub-identities are critical to our overall identity. And it's only to the extent to which our sub-identities are respected that we are willing to do the bargain to also be an Indian. And it is this ability to create unity out of diversity which distinguishes our civilization, which distinguishes our nation. And therefore, identity politics is not a cynical politics. Identities are very important to many Indians, most Indians, but most important of all, to those who feel that owing to their being members of a particular community, they're being discriminated against. Now, I think in this context, one line from the Sachar Committee report is worth sharing with the audience here. They say the sense of insecurity and the crisis of identity makes Muslims perceive these problems as community specific, and therefore they need to be attended to. Now, if you find, for example, in southern India, where there's none of the problems of Hindu-Muslim relations that you have in northern India, that even there, in a state like Tamil Nadu, where we have no problems with the Muslims at all, that they are 5.8% in the population, says the Sachar Committee, 5.8% of them are in the education department, but 0% in the home department. And there are none in the police, they're not even there in the constabulary, then certainly a Muslim will ask himself how strange it is that none of us is believed to be qualified to be a member of the home department. Why? Because we're Muslim And if you're Muslim, therefore we might be regarded as Pakistanis. Now, it's this crisis that has to be tackled. And it's not good enough to say that I'm an Indian. Of course I'm an Indian, but that's only because all my sub-identities are being respected. And it is in this context that the question of reservations has to be regarded.
I think what the communal reservations which led to the separate electorates were twofold. One is there was separate electorates which were instituted in 1909 by the Morley Minto, albeit in a very restrictive form, which later got enlarged in the normal separate electorates which existed till 1946. And then you had Mahatma Gandhi, who went on fast against the scheduled castes, or the depressed classes as they were then known as, being taken out of the orbit of the general category. They said they will be part of the general category, but a certain section would be reserved for them. What the Constituent Assembly debated ad nauseum on this issue and came to the conclusion that while certain amount of affirmative action was necessary for the scheduled castes and scheduled tribe, partly in the case to get over centuries of caste-based oppression which had taken place, and a degree of backwardness which had taken place, which existed among the tribal community. They were also very clear, the Constituent Assembly, and you can go through the debates, you'll find, that under no circumstances would there be religion-based reservation, because India's experience of religion-based reservation had
Respond
been
to that,
very,
Manisha
very
Karayar.
damaging.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone. Fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.